What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we finally got some love for motorbikes. It took a while. We had motorbikes in Wave 1. We actually didn't have any motorbikes in Wave 2, weirdly enough. We know we're getting at least one motorbike in Wave 3. It took a little bit of a while, but today, motorbikes are getting some love, ladies and gentlemen. The lovely folks over at the Transformers TCG Towers, in fact, the lovely Ken Nagel to be precise, design lead on the game, thank you very much, you've designed a very nice game, has gone and shown us the first ever card that we've had, which will actually go about helping our motorbikes. We've had no support for them whatsoever. Now we do. Although, to be fair, prior to Wave 3, we've only actually had 3 motorbikes, which is a little bit weird. So, what am I talking about? I am talking about Pop a Wheelie, which, incidentally, is a great name for a card which helps motorbikes. Consider me a fan of the name. So, what does it actually do? Well, it is an action card, and it's got a white icon, which means if you flip it while attacking or defending, and it's the first white icon you flipped, you get to flip 2 more cards. And what you do is you flip each of your characters from bot mode to motorcycle mode, and you get an extra attack this turn, as long as it's a motorcycle that attacks. So this becomes rather reminiscent of all-out attack. Now, do remember that when you attack, you still tap the character. So it's not like you get an extra attack and then that character doesn't tap. You have to tap a transformer to attack with it. But that's fine, because what we're going to be doing here, frankly, is ganging up on the opposition, getting off 2 attacks in a row, and getting off 2 attacks in a row is great, because it means you can take down bots that you otherwise wouldn't be taking down. The motorbikes so far we have been rather weak, so they're not getting giant KOs by themselves. Well, thanks to Pop a Wheelie, they're not by themselves anymore, so we're good. So at this stage of the video, it's probably prudent that we have a look at the bikes we've had so far, because this is very reminiscent of other cards we've had. You flip all of your potential bikes into bike mode. Well, we saw that for tanks with Hunker Down, and we saw that for cars with Start Your Engines, so it's not exactly new. And what we really need to look at here is our flipping into alt mode abilities, because essentially when you play this card, you get to use all of them, and you get to use all of them in whichever order you like. Now, here's a fun thing. You can actually play all 4 of the bikes we've had so far. So in Wave 1, we had RC, who's a 5 cost. We had Chromia, who's an 8 cost, bringing us to 13. Flame War, who's a 5 cost, bringing us to 18. And then in Wave 2, we've got Flame War, who's a 7 cost, bringing us to 25. Yeah, you can legitimately play all 4 of them. Do we think it's a coincidence a Specialist Flame War is the exact same cost to let you play a 4-wide bike deck with all of the bikes? No, I don't think that's a coincidence at all. Now, annoyingly, Specialist Flame War doesn't have a when you flip to alt mode ability, which is a little bit sad. It's got stealth. Never mind. But the other 3 do. RC, when you flip it into alt mode, you repair 1 damage from each of your characters. Now, what you could do here is even start playing around with something like Photon Bomb, where you do 2 damage to each character, yours and your opponent's. But then if you're able to drop a Pop a Wheelie, you could then repair 1 from each of them immediately. Of course, you would need a Brainstorm to do that, and you've got very weak characters, so I'm not saying you should, but I am saying it's an option. Flame War Veteran Decepticon, that is the Wave 1 Flame War. When you flip it into alt mode, each of your characters gets bold 1 until end of turn, which is very, very nice. And this is also extremely important here, because Pop a Wheelie lets you attack with a second character this turn. And Flame War gives bold 1 to each of your characters, so whichever one you attack with, whichever 2 you attack with, They're both going to have bold 1. Flame War is brilliant, ladies and gentlemen. And I should also remind you that in bot mode, Flame War gives each of your characters tough 1 just by virtue of being there. And in a 4-wide deck, that is a lot of extra tough and a lot of extra bold. And then we've got Chromia, who might be the most interesting of all of them, because Chromia says when you flip to alt mode, return a card that has at least 1 white icon from your scrap pile to your hand. And this might be a good time to point out to you, or at least remind you, that Papa Wheelie has a white icon. Yeah. Now, this is amazing, because it means you can just keep getting it back. And the problem here really is, it's then going to take multiple turns to get all of your characters back into bot mode. Because you can use Papa Wheelie to flip all of your characters into alt mode, but it's going to take you 4 flips in order to get them all into bot mode. And then once you use Papa Wheelie, it's going to take you 4 flips to get them back into bot mode so you can kind of go again. And rollout's not going to help you because it only goes from bot mode to alt mode. Incidentally, although this doesn't quite have the pip combination of rollout, the fact that you get an extra attack makes it better than rollout. If you're desperate for the orange and blue flips, yes, fine, go rollout. But outside of that, Papa Wheelie is just a better card. One of the things, incidentally, I love about Papa Wheelie, if you're playing a 4-wide deck and your opponent's playing a 3-wide deck, then on your kind of 4th turn, you're going to get an extra attack because all your opponent's characters are going to be tapped. What this allows you to do is get that extra attack earlier than you'd like to. And of course, if you can KO one of your opponent's characters, you might still get an extra attack on your last turn because, well, your opponent's characters are all tapped. And if they're all tapped, you get to attack with all of your characters at the end of your turn before everybody untaps and you all go again. So I like Papa Wheelie, and Chromia just gets it back. Like I say, you got to keep going into bot mode, and maybe you use rapid conversion to speed that up a little bit, but make no mistake about it, it's going to take a few turns to do so, and these characters are weak. RC's rocking health of 9, defense of 1. Chromia's rocking health of 11, defense of 0. Flame War's rocking health of 10, defense of 1. And Specialist Flame War's rocking health of 10, defense of 1. These aren't characters which are going to stay around all that long. So realistically, if you can get one good Papa Wheelie off, that might be the best you can do. It's not like Hunker Down and Tanks, whereby you expect your tanks to stay on the field for a little while, and then when you play Hunker Down, you get armor back on them anyway, which is only going to make sure they stay around for even longer. But the fact of the matter is, we've got an obvious 4-wide deck here, with the 2 Flame War, the RC, and the Chromia. And we've got 3 good skills that all come into play when you go Papa Wheelie, and it gives you extra attack that really lets you put pressure on your opponent, while Chromia just keeps getting it back. And don't forget, RC's got a really good bot mode skill that gives you Pierce equal to your attack. And don't forget that Chromia, when you attack and flip at least 2 white icons, you draw 2 cards. And this has got a white icon, so that is going to really help you out with Chromia here. And we already mentioned Flame War's tough and bold. And then, of course, Specialist Flame War's got Focus 2 in bot mode. We looked at this literally just a couple of days ago, whereby when attacking or defending, you may scrap the top 2 cards of your deck. Or top 1 card of your deck, or indeed none, if that is how you are so inclined. And, of course, they're all specialists. We've only had 4 of them so far, and they're all specialists. Now, there's a part of me that thought, well, hang on a second, this is probably deliberate. Motorcycles don't have their own support, but they can all use the specialist stuff. So you can use Field Communicator that lets you play the top card of your deck. And, I mean, it's my favourite of the specialist tricks, you know this by now. But it's also got a white icon, which Chromia is going to love. And, of course, when you flip into alt mode, you can get Field Communicator back, which is lovely. You do have multi-tool and multi-mission gear from Wave 1 that let you play an extra action and an extra upgrade, which is lovely. But it's really Field Communicator that I'm loving more than anything else. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good card. This gives us more of a reason to play bikes. And look, we like playing these faction-specific decks, so as soon as we saw Specialist Flame War, we all went, oh, now we can play 4 bikes, and people were going to build and test this, even if we didn't have Pop a Wheelie. But now we do have Pop a Wheelie, and it's way better. So there we go. I'm a fan of Pop a Wheelie, but I would like to know if you're a fan of Pop a Wheelie. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. But please do make sure you remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about a whole bunch of games like Transformers, but a whole bunch of others. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.